Hi everybody, my name is Dave Goodrich and I am a learning experience designer in the Center for Teaching and Learning Innovation at Michigan State University. I've been doing this kind of work for the past 15 years, really spanning my career to date, and I love the work that I get to do. I'm also in a PhD program in the Higher Adult and Lifelong Education program, and I'm trying to finish up my coursework for that, and so I picked some electives on some things that are of interest to me, but I chose a course recently that is a course that I've actually taught before, and I don't know if that was a good idea or not. And partly because I have this remix assignment where I'm supposed to be talking about things like Creative Commons and copyright and plagiarism and all these different sorts of things, which I have a lot of expertise on already because I've been integrating those concepts into my work quite closely, again, for my whole career. And this remix assignment requires of me to create a learning asset or a learning demonstration, basically a video creating an asset that basically explains what it is that I'm learning about these things. So I found myself really frustrated here with the first assignment because in terms of the concepts, I don't know if I'm learning a whole lot about them. I've learned a lot about them. Of course, I'm always still learning about them, but the thing is that is most important to me about remix culture is to participate in it. And I've been doing that for a long time. And I've been thinking about ways in which I could kind of change this assignment to better reflect the ways that I am doing that now in my work. And also to talk about the things I've learned about remixing and Creative Commons and these sorts of things. And that's where it brings us to another Ecclesiastes quote about, with wisdom comes much sorrow, and the more knowledge, the more grief. And I have certainly found that to be the case on this topic of Creative Commons and copyright. Especially when I first saw this documentary, this movie called The Internet's Own Boy. And if you haven't seen this, man, it's a must-see. It's also very depressing, though, and sad, again. And it's another example of the ways in which I've learned from Lawrence Lessig over the years how copyright has been basically outdated for the digital age and the challenges that come alongside that. So definitely want to recommend that. I'm also, I just went to a conference in Washington, D.C. Last week, and I met Tracy Balduzzi, who is a people connector and aspiring world traveler at Syracuse University. And she encouraged me to consider starting a podcast. And I've been thinking about doing that for a long time. I've helped start a handful of podcasts in the past, but I've been chewing on the idea of starting another one, and she thought a good name would be Just Another Dave. And maybe like the first episode could be about something like imposter syndrome. Am I just another Dave? There's so many Daves, who are so great in the world. Why don't I start interviewing people like Dave Matthews or all kinds of different people who have done such amazing creative work in their lives, remixing things in their own careers in different ways. And then, what about the artificial intelligence? What comes into play with copyright as it relates to artistry in the use of artificial intelligence? This is a huge topic. So this is something that and everybody is going to be learning a lot about in very soon about the challenges that we have with our legal system and our emerging technologies all around us. But, if we, I'm a believer. I grew up a believer in Christ, and kind of strayed away from that for a long time in my adult life. But I'm coming back to it in new and interesting ways that have helped me in my own journey with mental health and all kinds of life challenges that I've experienced. But I grew up learning the Bible very, very much in depth in the tradition I grew up in. And I think about how one of my favorite books in the Bible is Ecclesiastes, where it says nothing is new under the sun, and yet there's other parts of the Bible where it talks about Christ is making all things new and calls us to sing to the Lord a new song. So what does that look like? Why are we called to create new things if there is nothing new under the sun? Well, that probably probes into, this notion of what new really is. And, if we look at life itself, it always builds on previous life. It always digests and needs to digest things that were new in the past but died. So this concept of things being new and not new at the same time, and how that's a paradox, I'd like maybe to explore that in the podcast. And I thought a good way to kick off this podcast might be to watch together a funny video of Bob Dylan playing with words.
I'm looking for a place that will collect, clip, bath, and return my dog, KN17727, cigarettes and tobacco, animals and birds bought or sold on commission. I want a dog that's going to collect and clean my bath, return my cigarette, and give tobacco to my animals and give my birds a commission. I'm looking for somebody to sell my dog, collect my clip, buy my animal, and straighten out my bird. I'm looking for a place to bathe my bird, buy my dog, collect my clip, sell me cigarettes, and commission my bath. I'm looking for a place that's going to collect my commission, sell my dog, burn my bird, and sell me to the cigarette. Gonna bird my buy, collect my will, and bathe my commission. I'm looking for a place that's going to animal my soul, knit my return, bathe my foot, and collect my dog. Commission me to sell my animal to the bird to clip, and buy my bath, and return me back to the cigarette.